coming, guys.
Yeah, man. That's nice. Now, this script is from one of the episodes, or no?
No, actually, and I've got a story. I was just telling the audience about this. First of all, welcome everybody to the Justice League panel. I'm John Suntress. I host a podcast called Word Balloon. It's at wordballoon.com. I've had the pleasure of having both of these people on the show. Doing, in fact, table reads, but this is going to be a real treat because we had to find a great Hawkgirl Superman team up because there weren't that many scenes.
No, there weren't. No.
So,
No.
Maria, I love your outfits. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely. So, please, everybody, and I'm Canals-Barrera, correct? Is that-
Canals-Barrera.
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 Maria Canals-Barrera, everyone's favorite Shayera, Hawkgirl. And of course, the animated man of steel himself, George Newbern. We'll do the table read and then we can get into Q&A and everything and see what people want to ask you. So I really had trouble finding, as I said, a great, bit of dialogue between Superman and Hawkgirl. And so I had to contact one of the great Superman writers and historians, Mark Waid. And I called him up and I'm like, Mark, you gotta help me out. I can't find a good animated scene between the two of them. Is there a comic book where Superman and Hawkgirl are the only characters? He's like, DC Comics Presents number 31 from September of 1981, so 40 years ago.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yes. And he didn't even hesitate.
Did not have to
Came right out with it. No.
That's Mark Waid.
Very strong.
So, and ironically, you guys should really dig up the issue. And in fact, I'll look on my iPad to confirm the issue number.
37.
It is, thank you, sir. Well done. Mark Waid must be in the audience.
Show off.
37, very good. But really look through the dollar, or the dollar bins. There are no dollar bins anymore. But look through the old issues on the dealer tables because it was plotted and drawn by Jim Starlin, and all three are here. So would it be great to grab the comic and have everybody sign it?
Oh, that's so cool.
There might be some value in that.
So there we go. So yeah, this is great. Now I know this seems like a lot, but it's big print. So.
Yeah, no worries. Like what you should see my iPhone. It's like absolutely, it's like Mount Rushmore size type.
There you go. Absolutely. So Maria, you start. Yes, this is again from DC Comics Presents and a rare Superman Hawkgirl team up. Take it away. Absolutely.
From the Diary of Shayera Hall. On a recent dig in the Mojave Desert, I discovered a strange ancient tomb. The glyphs on the walls suggested a language I was familiar with, but not of this earth. I was certain the writing was Kryptonese. In short, and as corny as it may sound, this looked like a job for Superman.
You sent for me, Shayera. Good timing. I was on the moon at the Watchtower coming off monitor duty. It just so happened.
Cal, I appreciate you coming so quickly. I trust you can see why I called.
Interesting. The writings on the walls represent an ancient version of my home planet's language. It's about 100 years before the time of my father, Jor-El. Let's see what's behind this wall.
With one punch, a portion of the wall shattered, revealing a room full of strange equipment that reminded me of the same technology I had seen in the past while visiting Superman's Fortress of Solitude.
Fascinating. This equipment represents designs that are a combination of ancient Kryptonian tech and machines reminiscent of my father's lab in his era. This is a diary of the scientist's findings. Great row! The writings, impossible! Can it be him?
Translating the diary, Superman discovered the author and apparent scientist behind this technology was in fact his own great-grandfather, Var-El.
Var-El was a brilliant but disgraced Kryptonian scientist. Like my father 100 years ago, he was convinced Krypton's random seismic quakes were a premonition of pending destruction of our planet. He began to experiment with interstellar transporter technology that would open wormholes directly from Krypton to other planets as a means of escape for our population should the worst occur.
The diary went on to describe some of the equipment in front of us. Var-El had created a stellar iris, or Stargate, as a bridge to Earth. Earth's yellow sun would not only allow Kryptonians to escape death, but thrive with the same level of powers and abilities that Superman enjoyed in Earth's atmosphere.
Incredible. My family's legends told of RL's rejection by Krypton's Science Council. They thought his experiments and theories were nonsense and too dangerous, just like my father's 100 years later. Using his research, Jor-El must have discovered that Earth was the best place to send him. Excuse me. Maybe he couldn't figure out my great-grandfather's wormhole technology and had to settle for using a rocket for my journey.
Cal, if your great-grandfather was truly successful traveling to Earth this way, it would represent an incredible technological find that we could apply for use today.
It's certainly worth investigating.
And so between the two of us, with Superman translating his great-grandfather's diary, we began to discover the possibilities of turning on this stellar iris and opening a stable wormhole to instantly transport a user from Earth to Krypton's galaxy, or perhaps other celestial realms.
This tech pad next to the diary would seem to be the remote control that opens the iris.
Cal, be careful.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Superman touched the pad, deciphering symbols and correct order to enter commands at super speed. All of a sudden, a humming noise came from the iris. Without warning, the iris glowed red. Beams of energy shot from the iris. They looked like red solar flares, and they hit Superman dead center in his chest.
Shayera, stand back! I'm not sure what's happening.
Without warning and with the force of a hurricane, Superman was sucked inside the iris. Was it sending him back to Krypton or some other planet? Were the beams of energy nullifying Superman's powers? Was he helpless? Could he survive? Despite these unknowns, I had no choice. I grabbed my mace and steeled my courage and flew directly through the iris. Ha!
Nice.
To be continued.
That's right. That was like 12 pages of story that I had to condense into dialogue and tweak it a little bit here and there. Because, giving a little more agency to Hawkgirl, because there was always, well, you and Carter did X, and you and Carter did Y, and it's like, yeah, Hawkgirl can handle this stuff. So
it's really interesting the difference in the style and the energies. Written, it's just so much more sort of expository.
no question. Yeah, and again, different time, 40 years ago, probably still writing to 10 and 12-year-olds rather than slightly older.
Right.
So yeah, excellent guys, that was fantastic. It exceeded expectations. So can we go back to the beginning and then can I ask, auditioning for the role? So how was it?
Go ahead.
Okay, well, our amazing director, Andrea Romano, brought me in for the audition. I had recurred on a show that she directed called Static Shock, and I played a very different character. She was a news reporter, Shelley Sandoval, reporter. And I was really excited because I really wanted to book more voiceover jobs because my husband and I were ready to start a family. We were already married 4 years. And I specifically prayed about this. I said, oh Lord, I really, really would love more voice work because we want to have a baby. You could be pregnant out to here and work, And I was very excited about the part. And the sides, which are the pages that you read when you audition, were all about Shayera missing Thanagar. Talking about Thanagar and her people. And I thought, the way I was trained to audition was to use yourself a lot. Because you only have a short amount of time to prepare for an audition. And when we as actors try to fit into a little box of a character description with a short period of time, it might minimize who we are. But if we use all of ourselves as if we were this person and not try to necessarily condense ourselves into this box, but use all of ourselves, it helps us get the roles because really what they want is the most interesting person for the role, not necessarily you meet exactly the criteria that I have described on this page. So I trusted myself. And I remember I moved from Florida, Miami, where I'm from. My parents are Cuban. Miami has a lot of Cuban culture. This was like many years ago. Miami's still very international, and yes, very Cuban, but very international, all kinds of people from everywhere. But I miss that very strong Cuban culture, and I thought about the people, the music, the flavor of my hometown, and I filled myself up with all that longing. And I just read the lines, and it transfers as Shayera missing Thanagar, me missing Florida, and the Cubanness and all that. And it was really very emotional, but I had to, I'm a superhero, I can't let it all, I can't cry. So I felt really good about it, and I ended up getting it. I was so happy. So it was an answer to prayer. It was another affirmation for me to trust myself in everything that I am as an actor, and it was a dream job. And the fact that you guys are here today, after so many years, is just a testament to what an amazing project I was blessed enough to be part of, with amazing writers, animators, actors. It was a dream that still keeps on fulfilling. It was great.
That's excellent, and it's great that you used your own personal experience to relate to Shayera and everything. And certainly Superman, again, an art film, and then someone away from his home. So, George, in terms of thinking about your
it's the process of getting jobs in Hollywood is kind of it's a very strange and mysterious process in many ways, because sometimes you can try your hardest to get a job. Because I'm so right for that, I really want that, I was so perfect for this, and this is God, this is mine, and you don't get it, and no matter how well you do. So at this point, when this audition came up, which was it 17 years ago? A while ago.
99 or 2000.
I think it was over 20 years ago.
Yeah, something like that, unfortunately.
I'm 93, just to let you know. I'm 93, trying to keep it together. But, so at that point, I was starting to get the joke. But the joke is, don't obsess about everything don't grip so hard, because you never get what you grip so hard for. So basically, I just got the call to go to an audition just like anything. I was out in Burbank, which is really far from where I live, and I was like, oh, I gotta go to Burbank? Okay. So I got in the car and drove, 45 minutes, and I get there, and I think there's Tate Donovan and a couple other guys I recognize that I would always see at my auditions, and like, oh, what's the audition for? That's a cartoon. Oh, it's a cartoon. And I didn't realize what it was. I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's Superman. Oh, cool. Is this a comic? What is this? I was just oblivious, because I was just trying not to care and go. And I saw this long speech. I said, oh, I can do this. This is like my big brother, who's now an orthopedic surgeon and was an Eagle Scout and all that stuff. So I was thinking about my brother when I did it. So I just kind of did my earnest version of my brother, and then I got it. And I didn't realize that I was replacing someone who, my friend Tim, who I'd done a TV movie with probably 5 or 6 years before that. I guess he was busy, so I took over for Tim. It was gone. So that's how it happened, and I didn't realize that 20 plus years later I would be here talking about this, which is so good. But it's just one of many different jobs you get to do as an actor. I'm lucky enough to get to do that. This has turned out to be so special, and so just sort of transformative in my life in many ways. The very, very few jobs you can kind of hold on to and say I was a part of that. And I've had probably 4 or 5 things in my life that are like that. And if you get one in your career as an actor, you are beyond lucky. And so this is definitely one of those. Yeah.
That's awesome. And a great combination that you both had in your careers of doing live action as well as animation.
Yeah.
And Maria, I've got to ask, because one movie in particular, I know your Disney career certainly, and I certainly hope that people will have questions beyond the Justice League to ask about some of these other roles that they've played. But Larry Crown is one of those movies that really, it didn't connect at the box office, but certainly has only become more prescient as time has gone on.
Right.
About a character that gets downsized, and Tom Hanks has to go back to school and kind of learn to regroup and reestablish his life. And you were in the cast, or you were in his class, and also Remy Malek. So, and it's so funny because, of course, Tom had already, done a couple of victory laps and got his best actor awards, but now Remy too.
Yes.
And just, honestly, that group of actors and characters were so funny in the adult, community college courses and stuff.
Yeah.
So what was that dynamic?
Oh, that was a blast. That was a script that Tom Hanks co-wrote with Mia Vardalos, and he cast like his, friends, or friends' kids, that, you know, that he wanted to work with, that he knew were good actors, and then some other people. It was my first time working with him. It was so fun because he plays a teacher. I don't know if you've seen it, right? He's the teacher?
No, he was...
He's a
in
student.
the class.
Right, Julia Roberts was the teacher.
Right.
So a while ago. And it was really cool because Tom was, of course, the lead, and he also directed it. And first of all, I'm in a classroom with Julia Roberts and Tom Hanks, and she plays the teacher, and he is like a star student, you know, as an older adult in community college, and he's really raw, like he changes our lives as the adult students in the class. And I liked how Tom, he cared about every character having an arc and growing and changing, and by the end I want to be like you could tell without it being obvious that I want to be like Julia. You know, I started like looking like her, doing my hair and dressing like her, because, you know, she inspires and he inspires all of us. It's a very sweet story, and for me as an actor, it was really cool because it was like a master class with these, you know, iconic Hollywood celebrities. He was the nicest guy, of course. I just can't believe that he's that nice, but he really was that nice. And Rami was, I was tickled that Tom, everything Rami would do, Tom would just double over, cracking up. He was like his biggest fan. He just loved him so much. So I can only imagine how happy he is that Rami's star has taken off.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Meryl Streep's daughter, one of her daughters was in it.
Yes, that's right, yeah, because I remember her too from the newsroom, the HBO
And
show.
Grace Gummer.
Yeah, great actor, absolutely.
And it was funny because I was talking to another actor, Malcolm, the African-American actor.
Yes, and I don't remember his name right now.
He's in the movie and he's very funny. Malcolm,
Very funny.
forgot his last
I'll find it, I got it.
And we were talking, and I was saying, yeah, you know, it's just like really, this is so exciting, you know. I was like, wow, it's so great, you know. You know, we're working with Tom Hanks, and I said, you know, Grace, you know, she's, you know, her mom being who she is just incredible. And he's like, who's her mom? Because Grace would mention her mother every now and then, but not by name. She would say, oh, my mom told me, this is our business. You know, and I said, oh, Meryl Streep is her mom. He said, and he cussed. He said, are you kidding me? And I said, well, it shouldn't change anything. You just be you. And so we were like really counting the blessings of being in this cool little, you know, project with these amazingly successful, iconic people, and learning and having fun. It was really great.
Malcolm Barrett, by the way.
Malcolm Barrett.
And Grace Gummer, as he says, Bryan Cranston. Also,
Bryan Cranston. Yeah, he played Julia's husband.
That's right.
He was a real loser.
Yeah, real jerk. Absolutely. No, it's a great cast. God, George Takei is really funny.
George Takei is our professor at college.
Your device, please.
Your device, please.
He was an iconic person. It was really a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And George, you know, God, of course, we all remember the Father of the Bride movies, outstanding stuff, and it is insane because, listen, I understand it's years later and stuff, but sometimes it is hard to put two and two together because also Scandal.
Yeah.
And truly, you know,
My career's been basically two diametrically opposed personalities. You know, super serial killer, weird people, or the nicest guy on the
Exactly, man.
So it's been a blast.
Tell me about Scandal, because what a great show. And truly, like a million off Washington shows. Is there room for another one? It's like, well, it's like this.
Yeah, well, I think that was a crazy story. Just getting that part, because I had a really rough couple of years before I got it, and we picked up and left LA and moved to the East Coast, to Princeton, just to sort of start over, and we'll work out in New York, and we'll let's just clear our minds, and the kids will start in schools, and we'll buy a house for like 1/3 of what it costs in LA, we'll just start over. So we got there, and we were fairly miserable. I couldn't handle the weather, and I didn't realize how I couldn't handle the cold, so I'm such a wuss. And then children, it was just a very different experience for us. So we moved back, long story short, and then 2 weeks after getting back, That audition for Scandal was just a guest star part, so I almost didn't go. My wife had seen the show and she said, you should go, it's a good show. So they know me in that office. Linda Louie knows me. They know I'm not going to, I've been there 4 times. I haven't gotten a part. I'm not going. She said, just go. What do you got, 20 minutes? This is what you're supposed to do. So I go and I got it. And as I was in it, I was like, wow, I think I could do something with this part. Because it wasn't written anything like what it ended up being. I said, I want to make this guy funny. I want to make this weird and creepy and fun. And so they kept asking me back and asking me back and asking me back. And so finally, after 70 episodes, I was, but every week I didn't know if I was going to get killed off. I would just be sweating. I had pit stains, so I would sit at the table where you're going, kind of skip to the back. And Sean would always go, don't skip to the back. But, you know, my character who would do nothing but torture and kill people, like he was a mercenary for hire. I thought, well, of course this guy's going to get killed. You know, that's what happens. But I managed to sort of work for everybody in the cast, and I was friendly with the writers. I was like, you know, hey, but I learned that we were just talking about writers the other night. You find the writers in the room and make sure that you have a connection with them, you respect them, and you're nice to them because they're the ones that keep you in the mix and alive. So anyway, yeah, so that was a great experience. And, it was really neat to work with Shonda, and Kerry Washington was lovely, and we're all good friends to this day. And it's just amazing. You look at the trajectory of your life as an actor or any job that you do. Really, you kind of look at the chart of the peaks and valleys, and you just never know. You got to keep showing up. I would encourage everybody here, no matter what you're doing, if you get discouraged, just keep showing up. You just don't know if tomorrow is the day that the thing turns you around, or you get an idea for a new career or for whatever it is. But it's real easy to get down, but you got to just remember that there's a bigger plan.
That's great. So that's excellent, folks. When you have the microphone, and I do want you to please take advantage and get up and ask questions. I mean, we're content to talk, for the 45 minutes, but we want you to be involved. I mean, we're chance your stuff.
Anyone?
So yeah, please. But I would like you to use the microphone if you don't mind, because I'm recording this for my podcast. So don't be shy. But while I'm waiting for people to line up, I'll ask both of you a stock question. Are there favorite Justice League episodes that you did?
Well,
Toss it.
for me it was Star-Crossed.
Very nice, of course. Absolutely. And the wonderful relationship that you and now blanking, shame on me.
Greenland.
Yeah, of course, now it was John Stewart, but I want to give Phil Marley proper credit.
Sure.
You mentioned the actors. And again, another great on-camera actor and voice actor as well. But really, pretty groundbreaking that it was an interracial relationship.
Interspecies.
Interspecies.
Wow, absolutely.
Intergalactic.
This is a doctor's this is a doctor's conference. Look at all the interspecies relationships. Absolutely.
Funny. I remember saying on the scene, I said, John, just look at us. We're so different.
Just look at this, John.
I have a bird. Yeah, that was really cool. It was so well written. It was really great. It was great fun to play the romance.
And after a couple of seasons, George, because I really felt like because we knew Superman and Batman and even Supergirl and Wonder Woman and everything, that they wanted to give the other characters a bit more to do and everything.
Yeah.
But thank God, my favorite episode that you were involved in was for the Man Who
That's everything. I think it's fun too.
Yeah.
I got to do a lot. It was great. The writing was so good on that show, and Dwayne, who passed away, Dwayne stuff was just so great. He was really the heart and soul of that writing team, I think, and Bruce Timm, who is still a genius, I think, But the minute had everything. Had.
Yeah.
The Man Who Has.
Either has or had. I'm not sure. It was again adapted from a great comic.
Yeah.
There was another one too, where Superman is stuck in the future, and in the future, the yellow sun turns red.
What was the name of that?
And I can't remember the name of it, but again, it was
Does
based
anyone
on
Hereafter.
Hereafter. Thank you, man. And that was based on an old Ed Hannigan from the '60s. Superman story.
Well, I'm pretty sure that I got electrocuted in it because I'm electrocuted and everything. I screamed a lot.
That's awesome. Folks, really, any questions? Please step up.
Come to the mic.
There we go. Fantastic. Don't be shy.
So I have a question for you. Did you know that Hawkgirl was going to be a traitor? Like, in
No.
advance? And how did that work out?
No, they didn't, I don't know if you were told anything in
No.
advance, but we would get the scripts and we wouldn't know where we were going.
Okay.
And I remember being I was upset about it. I was like really like offended and upset, and I'm like, it's so stupid because it's such a great thing, such drama to play, and it was a blessing to have that. But I was so silly, I was like, what? And so, yeah, it's kind of, I don't know if they do that intentionally, not tell the actors, or they just don't care to tell them. But maybe they do it so we're like spontaneous and fresh, and as much as we can be before we overthink things, because we tend to overthink. I don't know why. That's a good question to ask the creators at the next con.
Indeed.
But yeah, you're welcome.
Were you guys able to table read together, or were you guys doing it
Did we
one?
ever read it through? I think we kind of we sort of read it through before we actually recorded in the room. Like, then we did it 10 minutes later. I do remember reading through it just a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't read cold, but we didn't have a day to look at it. We got it that morning.
Yeah, we were like sitting around a table. It's like everybody.
We sat on our stools in front of the microphone, so let's just read it through, let's read it, and then this,
But even recording, were you guys together?
Yes.
Okay.
Apparently that's not a common thing.
No.
It's not common anymore. You have everyone is individually short in their pods,
And of course, we have to do a great job regardless, because that's our job. But when you do have the living energy of the other living actors in the room, it's very exciting, because we get to see each other, and it's just a different extra layer.
It's like doing a play or with a live audience and
Of
like
energy.
people in front of you, give them tickets.
Yeah, and we can look at them, and of course, we're trying to like break each other's concentration. And there's a lot of.
She had to tell us to shut up. And we were like, everyone was like, yeah, it's time.
I'm a little too I want to do a good job and I don't relax enough. So I'm like, but George and Phil are the funniest.
It's just fun.
The way that they would try to like trip each other was fantastic. I was like laughing constantly. They were terrific.
That's awesome.
Sir,
My name's David, a huge fan. Just wanted to know kind of what George said earlier, but really for both of you. You mentioned about, having auditions for roles that you really wanted.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like what kinds of parts did you audition for that you really wanted but maybe just didn't get?
Well, I was just telling you about one the other day when I was in college. I got flown out I went to school with Western. I got flown out for this movie called Back to the Future. And I didn't know anything about I'd never been to Hollywood, never anything, and I got real close. I was down to the last 3 guys, and I had lunch with Spielberg, and they put me up for 3 days, and they had built the sets. Everyone had been cast except Marty McFly. Christopher Lloyd, every single character, Leah Thompson, Crispin Glover, Biff, they all had their wardrobe on and makeup on, and they were standing on the soundstage. There were 3 guys, me and 2 other guys, and I spent 9 hours, and I was like, what the hell is going on? I mean, I didn't know what was going on. And I met Bob Gale and Bob Zemeckis, and it was very exciting. So that was one, and honestly, I went through and I thought I did a great job. I said, you're all the way to the end, all the way to the end, and then they gave it to this guy named Eric Stoltz, who later got fired, and then it was Michael Fox. But that experience, after I went back to Evanston, and 6 months later, I'm sitting in the movie theater watching it, going, "What? My life would be so different." But that's one. That's a story. That was one.
You asked what it's like to get. What did you say again?
Well, I was just curious what role that maybe you auditioned for that you really wanted that you didn't get.
Well, there's several in the life of an actor, But I can't say that there's been like this, because there haven't been that many. Honestly, unfortunately, even though things are changing slowly, there haven't been amazing, iconic roles for an American of Latin heritage female that it hasn't really happened that much. maybe Frida Kahlo's story, which was like really hard to get made. Is that,
Sure.
so it's not like I have, I was offered the part of, I just saw somebody that said in an interview, I was offered the part of Sandy in Grease and I turned it down. but Olivia did a great job. And it was Marie Osmond who said that. And then I was like, so I haven't had that kind of story, but I've had parts where I feel like it's a great opportunity or a series regular and I'll be like, I was perfect for it. And I didn't get it. And I remember when that first happened to me, when I first moved to LA, an older, more seasoned actor that I'd worked on a show with said to me, Maria, that's going to happen so many times. I said, really? Meaning that there are a lot of parts that I'll be perfect for. Because I was like, I thought it would never come again. Oh my gosh, I didn't get it, and I got so close, and it was so perfect, it was perfect for me. He's like, that's going to happen a lot of times. And he's right, and sometimes I do get it. And sometimes I don't get it. And it's terrible. And while George was talking, I was going to say, thanks for the pep talk. Because we always need it. When he was seriously saying, about how, before you guys started asking questions, when he was saying, the life of the actor and how you have to keep going for it and staying in the game. And remaining positive, or else forget it. And that's like a psychological trick. Because you have all this evidence of no's, but you can't live in the evidence of no's. You have to live in the evidence of the few yeses and know that the possibilities are still there. So you really have to talk yourself into remembering what you love, why you love it, the fact that anything is possible, using all of yourself, not holding back. It's very tough, but it's also a blast. It's both extremes, and that's maybe why George can play both extremes so well, because as an actor, we live that. We live the excruciatingly painful moments of hearing no so much, and the phenomenal moments of having people tell you, I love you, I love your work, you're my childhood, and getting to be on the red carpet. It's just such an extreme of glamour, or what seems like glamour, and then suffering. It really is
So what if you found many actors who like to gamble? I bet there are not many, because they live it every day.
Sure.
That's interesting. I have no interest in gambling.
Zero.
Here we are in the casino. That's a good observation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
That was
David.
excellent. Great question.
How you doing? My name is Matt.
Hey, Matt.
I just want to say, they still can't get the movies right, but in the cartoons, you guys just knocked it out of the park.
Oh, yeah.
Hands down. I think one of my favorite ones with Hawkgirl, I don't know what the name of the episode was, one with Solomon Grundy, and she basically had to mercy kill him, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've seen the show once, I don't
Yeah.
remember what was the reason for that, but that was heartbreaking for her, having realized that someone who even was supposedly the bad guy
Right.
really wasn't, that was actually helping them, and it's like, well, we all live,
Yeah.
he dies, that's,
Yeah, just incredible writing and tapping into the humanity of all kinds of characters like that. It was just so great.
and he showed her son to make a joke about having a Martian on speed dial. Your version of Superman just again.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know, I can't tell which one is my favorite of the top three. You just push Superman too far limits. One was in that episode, The Man Was Everything.
Yes,
Because
yes.
he's
And
literally
at the
just-
very end, the finale, when he goes,
And he's-
what is it? Push
yeah.
it back.
the one word, burn.
Yeah.
Yes.
That, and after Flash disappears, and it's got
Yeah, cool.
had Luther by the throat. I'm like, the only thing that would have made that shot better with the red eyes is that showing someone show tears.
Yeah.
Just breast red and sword.
Yeah.
That and the world of cardboard.
World War, I feel like I made a little World of Cardboard. It's just a great speech.
Well, it's Michael Ironside.
Yeah.
I mean, why? Suppose the show ended, because I started watching it after.
I think that's just a Warner Brothers question. It probably is just the number of eyeballs, I guess.
Well, as I've interviewed people in animation, the understanding that I've learned is, and it's stupid, and certainly Justice League broke through tradition, as did the Batman series. They kind of are in this box where they think 2 seasons are enough. It's enough for back then, before streaming, enough for syndication. And also, these are Y7 shows. They're made for 7-year-olds. They figure by the time they're 9 or 10, it's time for a new group and a new show. It's ridiculous. And truly, because of productions like Justice League.
Yeah.
You're acting, the designs, the writing, everything. Andre's directing. It's like
More adults to see it than the kids.
Look at the Flintstones. I mean, look at all these classic animated shows that just endured for years. Thankfully, I do believe that things have changed and continue to change. And even Lauren Lester was saying that they're contemplating a Nightwing animated series, and he's like, I don't know if I'm gonna get it, I hope I do. Bruce is behind that, Bruce
Oh, is it? Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it was great to see, and I'm sorry that you weren't included in the Justice League versus the Fatal Five, but they had the core of yourself and Kevin playing Batman and Susan playing Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But, and I know, Susan, I always call her Spartacus because she's the one that's really leading the charge of, hey, great cast.
Yes, she is.
Truly, because of us all being fans, it's like, everybody wants this. Warner Brothers, what are you waiting for? Let's have a new series.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, God, Mel Blanc played Barney Rubble for decades.
Yeah.
Alan Reed did the same.
They still can't just call Henry Cavill, like, okay, you're coming back again.
Right.
It's like, can you make a-
Yeah, put out the bat signal and whatever the Justice
Thank
League.
you for that show. I showed my nephew to him, like, no. It's like, no, don't watch the movie yet. Watch this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then when I told him I met Batman, his eyes just were like, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt.
Hi, I'm James. It's kind of a double-sided question. If the WB Warner Brothers were called and they said, would you like to do a Justice League or Justice League Unlimited revival, would you both be interested in doing something like that?
Definitely.
And my second question would be, which one was more of your favorite, Justice League or Justice League Unlimited?
Justice League, I think.
Justice League, because we got to do more of it. I was had more stuff to do, which is funner for me. But I love Justice League Unlimited mostly because we got to see so many amazing actors come in.
Yeah, we had amazing guest
And it's
stars.
super fun.
Yeah, that was great.
But Justice League probably.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, the original show, I mean, really, well, and also they were all two-parters, so they were more involved stories. I have to say, as an adult fan, my old college roommate, I'm like, you gotta watch this show. He totally got into it, and his wife happened to walk in. And again, newbies that don't know what's going on, it's like, what are you watching? And it's like, look, I know it's a cartoon, but these people, I don't know what to tell you. The stories are amazing. Obviously, these actors are really acting their asses off. This is really a great show. And she sat down and she's like, oh, this is a good show. This is a little more adult than, what was normal Saturday morning fare.
Halfway through it, Hank Azaria is an older friend of mine, and I remember bumping into him in an audition, and he was in the middle of The Simpsons, which is already really popular. I said, oh my gosh, I've seen Justice League, can you get me on that? I think you can call Hank, I think you can get on. But and I told Andrea, and I guess they never connected, but he was a massive fan of Justice League.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did he end up getting it?
I didn't think so, I didn't see him in the,
I'm gonna have to look
at
it up.
Justice League Unlimited, but I didn't see him, look it up.
Yeah.
I think he did. So,
Sir.
Hello, my name's Mike.
hi, Mike.
My wife even watched it, which is astounding. My question is, very nice of you, thank you very much for that.
Sure.
Didn't expect you to do that, but you're sitting down. My question is, when you actually did these shows, was it sitting down, reading, and did you get up and move around and do some physical things while you were doing these readings?
Both.
The stools, we said, they're kind of like tall stool chairs, you kind of, and you can kind of, when somebody else is speaking, you kind of have your right butt cheek on it, and then when it's your turn, you can, I had to stand up, I can't sit.
Some people stand up the whole time.
Yeah.
I did both. I was pregnant twice.
Oh,
But yeah, sometimes, especially if there's an action scene, I like to stand. But I both.
I've seen a video of Mark Hamill discussing doing Joker, and he actually had some show that was on YouTube, where he gets out front and he goes through all the physical stuff and contorts his face, and he really sort of plays the character. And he said he did that when they were recording, because it's just the way he did it. So I was just
He was on our show.
You did unlimited,
Yeah, he stood up, right? I think, I don't know if it's Phil, one of our guys, one of our core group always stands. I don't remember. I think it's Phil.
So I stood mostly, just because I just get electrocuted and scream a lot. Trust me.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to have. My brother was a huge Star Wars fan his whole life, And he came to visit us in LA to help us with our remodeling of our house that we were going to do. And I was recording Justice League. And he was coming from the airport. I said, "Oh, meet us at Warner Brothers
In the mall.
in the mall." It was like a really nice recording studio. And that day, Mark Hamill was recording with us.
Okay.
And he got to meet Mark Hamill. It was like, that was really exciting, took pictures and all that. So I mean, even little things like that were just wonderful about this whole experience.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Good questions, everybody. I like this.
Hi, my name's Becca.
Okay.
I was wondering if you've ever disagreed with a writer on their decision to kill off a character or put two characters together on anything?
I was very much for the romance, but
I was too. It took too long though. But it was too short. Honestly.
Yes, it takes, to get to it too quickly though, you don't have any work out. You could kind of.
No, but they ended it in less than an episode.
That's true. It should have gone on for longer. But
you're right, Becca.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I think also if we do have a concern, it's very delicate. If it's a very strong enough concern, if you're going to talk to a writer about their creation, because we're hired to interpret, not rewrite. So you have to really have a good, strong conviction for why you want to even address something. You know what I mean? But I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I wasn't, I didn't think about it too deeply. I knew they weren't going to kill Superman. I mean, I might have hired me, but I knew they weren't going to kill the character.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great question.
Hello?
Hello.
A question in regards to George Newbern.
Yes, sir.
My favorite line in Justice League Unlimited is, do I look Batman to you?
What is it?
Do I look Batman to you?
Do I see Batman to you? Yeah, that's good.
That's my favorite.
That was good.
What is your voice, by the way?
Thanks. What is your favorite line in the entire series?
Oh, you go.
Is it me or?
You go first.
You.
Oh, yeah, I think the cardboard speech, I live in a world of cardboard, I think is my favorite.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Gosh, I was.
Maria.
I can't remember.
No pressure.
I had people tell me that they remember that line where I say no more lies. It's like at the end. No more, what is it?
Oh, man. And I know what you're talking about, but yeah, I can't go check there.
No, it's no more wire hangers, I think.
I had a lot of good little zingers sometimes.
Yeah, just kind of the banter between you and Jon Stewart was always fun.
Yeah, I remember things he would tell me, and I said, "I'm a man and you're a woman." And I was concerned about our differences. So I remember what other people say more, but I just loved everything I had to say. It was a blast.
I also like the shock, of course it was drawn, but the shock on your faces when you met your, wasn't it your son in the future?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so the relationship did go further, and, obviously produced a child, so that was really cool.
Yeah.
But George Watch couldn't get a date. I remember that one.
What's that?
How you said something, you said, yeah, that's why you can't get a date.
I remember that. I remember that. That was good.
Well, okay, thank you. And by the way, thanks for the son.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
So I have another question.
Yes, sir.
For you. First of all, my name is Joe. I
Hey, Joe.
introduced myself the first time.
Hi, Joe.
So, your voices on the show, there are subtle differences between that and your speaking voices. My question is, where did you draw the, how you spoke differently, I guess would be what I want to ask that.
I initially, the first season, I was, they had to pitch my voice down because it was longer ago, and I guess as your muscles are a little tighter, and it's lower now as I'm older, but at the time they had to pitch me down to give it a little more, oomph. And I was kind of worried. I was like, oh God, I going to fire me because I can't get down, I can't go to get a little lower. But I did actually just I had to really sort of find a placement for that down here, and it wasn't easy for me. It kind of hurt a little bit. The second season, I found a place.
I remember you saying that loud.
Yeah.
You speaking about it. Oh, I got to get down.
I got to get down here.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And you did it.
Yeah.
I remember Andrea said, we want to use your natural voices. We don't want cartoony voices. So I cast you guys, and I want you to use because of your natural voices in large part, so trust that your natural voice. So, but for me, a few times, she did have to remind me that I was a warrior, because I would say, I would do all femme and glamour puss like I am. And then she'd say, she's a warrior, how about that? And I'd get, tough again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe.
Hi, Steve.
Yes, hi, I'm Steve, and I'm very interested in how Kal-El learned the values from Jonathan and Martha. And I know in the Comfort and Joy episode, it's like he comes home and he says, I just get to be myself. Yeah. And there's the fun stuff where they wrap the Christmas presents with lead so he doesn't know what's in them. And it's so cool that Mike Farrell and Shelley Travers got to play them. But can you talk about I don't know all the episodes encyclopedia-wise, but scenes where he was learning from his parents.
Yeah.
And or just in general, how the character got his values. Can you talk about that? I honestly don't know whether they wrote a lot.
They did. There was not very much of what we did. The comic books were full of that stuff. Sure. In the movies and the previous, but for Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, there was like very little Superman at home or with the parents. Like, I don't even. Was there one episode? I think one episode.
I think it was only that one.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
I can talk about what I think it is, but that is whatever. But I think clearly Superman, his personality is fully formed by the alien part of him, and then also the earthly parents played a big part in his humanity and the Clarkness of him and all of that. So I think it was equally important. Just like the duality of people. I'm not good as an actor. I'm not going to go murder someone, but I know what it feels like to murder when someone cuts me off in a car. So I think that's Superman got his sort of human values through his parents.
And when Comfort and Joy was recorded, were they in the studio with you, Mike and Shelley?
No.
Oh, too bad.
No, were they?
I don't
remember. I don't think so.
That's one of my favorite episodes.
Oh, good. Yeah, it was nice.
Thank you for being Clark.
Thank you.
I love Clark.
Yeah.
I love Superman. He's my favorite.
Yeah. Well, you're my favorite too.
A lot of girls like Batman.
Just that.
And I love the purity of heart that Superman has and how he loves. I just love Superman.
Thank you so much.
And you brought Martian Manhunter to your house for Christmas. And
that's right. So
yes. So again, what it's all about.
It's so sweet.
Thank you. I love this stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. I know.
Yeah, I'm so glad that he did the online table
Yes,
read that we all did.
Yes,
That was
yes.
fantastic.
They were Comic-Con, and I think that was it for him. He did something.
And man, wasn't he great in, as Isaiah Bradley on The Falcon and Winter Soldier? I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it. God, he played, and if you don't know the character, Isaiah Bradley was like a Tuskegee airman, or I should say a Tuskegee experiment, where they tried the super soldier formula on him first.
Oh, really?
It messed him up in the comics, and he played that in this role. But yeah, Anthony Mackie meets him, finding out that there was a black Captain America before Steve Rogers. And it's a great back.
He's a great actor.
Yeah, he was incredible. And no disrespect to Don Cheadle, who got the Emmy nomination. It's like Carl should have got Carl. He was incredible.
So he is amazing.
So George, you kind of alluded during this panel, you were like, Superman gets electrocuted, they got electrocuted a lot. this might have been on the DVD or something, but there was a Bruce Timm interview I was watching where they talked about the #1 fan complaint about, I guess, season 1 of Justice League.
Yeah, that he was not strong enough.
Yeah, that he was
Right, yeah.
And I wondered, did you ever feel that way while reading the script? You're like, wow, I'm getting knocked out a lot.
I just, I kind of put my head down and did what I was told, but I think for Superman aficionados and Justice League aficionados, they were not happy with that. I think they changed that. They sort of got away from that as they went on. But I think the first season, yeah, he was like, yeah, we're thinking about maybe backing off of Superman getting walloped so hard. That was in combination of pitching my voice down, so I was like, I gotta go make this guy stronger on my end. Yeah, but I hear that. Interesting.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hi. Sorry. Last year, DC continued some of Batman the animated series with the Adventures Continue. I was just wondering if you guys had the chance yet, and if you've noticed that they released Justice League Infinity.
I didn't.
Which is a continuation.
That's cool.
Yeah. Wow. Who's writing that? Is it Alan Burnett or any of the staff?
I know they have a hand in it. I don't.
Oh, okay. So it hasn't started. Or maybe it did.
I know
it's a comic book or animated?
Yeah, because they did that. They did that last year with the Batman animated series, and because of the success,
Got it. Yeah.
now they're doing the Justice.
Cool.
And I just want to thank you because when I read any of the comics, even if it's not in the animated universe ones, it's your voice.
Oh, thank you so much. That's such an honor.
No question.
Thank you. Wow.
That's kind of cool.
This might have to be the last question, everybody.
Hi guys, Neil Ferreira, how are you?
Hi, Neil.
One of the things that was, I think, unique about Justice League is I had the pleasure of enjoying it with my kids as they were growing up, and my wife, not being a comic book person, would actually get sucked in because of the acting performances. What do you attribute that to? Because unlike other cartoons, were you surprised at Andrea Romano's approach to, to how she directed you guys from a voice perspective? Because as the seasons went on, it's clearly real acting that's going on here, and not just voiceover work.
Right.
Did she say or direct you guys in a different way that made you guys realize, hey, this isn't just cartoon voice work, this is real acting?
Well, for me, because I was trained to be on stage and live action, I wasn't a voiceover actress. That's the only way I know how to do it, is to really feel it, really live it. And I think that Andrea wanted that, but I think she cast us because we brought that in already, because I don't remember her specifically saying.
And I think Bruce had a real hand in it, because he created the animated world, and I think that he was very specific about the sound of stuff. I would see them confer all the time.
We don't hear them talking, but I never heard that makes part of it.
I think so, and also I think the writing is pretty straightforward. It's actually straightforward, but I think that it's a stylistic approach and a tonal approach to it. You could look at Super Friends, from the 70s, and they all talk like this, and it's for children, and it's good in its own way. It's just different. This was sort of more.
So you're saying that the writing served really communicating rather than talking at somebody, really communicating, because the writing was so good. I agree with that.
Well, thank you. It was Emmy-worthy stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Again, Andrea's direction too, and it was so much fun when we did the online table read, and Andrea was really interjecting and saying, "No, I needed more," and everything. And Susan's like, "That's exactly how she was in the sessions and everything." So that was great to see. No, it really, that alchemy again of the writing, the design, and the acting that you guys provided.
Yeah, and she set that tone of. She's just so. She's an actor's director. She's been an actress herself, and she likes actors. You always feel like you're an important part of the team, no matter who you are. All our guest stars, everybody, and because of her skill, I think it had a lot. In that way, it had a lot to do with us trusting ourselves and having fun. And she wanted to bring everybody together in the room. She really fought for that, tried to make that happen with everybody's schedules and I think that she was a big reason, of course, the genius of Bruce Timm and all the writers to begin with.
She's reading the descriptions of she's telling Lucy, he walks over here, Superman's supposed to Batman, he comes up behind him, and he's really angry, and she's
And Superman says,
she sort of gives you the assist every time,
Right.
as opposed to, a lot of times if you're doing a video game, you get a sheet of paper, and it's like, Superman, and it says, ooh, what are you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. It's like one little, sort of one-off reactions, but in the episodes,
yeah.
there's a lot of context, but the stuff we're reading, we don't get to see all the context, so she's sort of giving me the lift with each moment. It's a lot of work. She's sort of doing sort of one-man band
Yes.
for 4 hours, and it's the good ones like Andrea are great. The bad
Yeah.
ones are just like whatever.
And again, you love what you do and you're committed to it and you're excited. It's not work, it's fun, and that's what we felt with her. She was enjoying every second of it.
Well, and she came from that Super Friends era originally, so I
Yes, she
think
did, yeah.
her directing evolved
Right.
as the animation and the productions
Right.
evolved. So yeah, no, and look at the Boondocks, what she did with the Boondocks. You know, I mean, the Boondocks, that was Andrea Romano as well. So I mean, she could really do adult content in animation and stuff. Guys, seriously, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for coming.